Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. In this session, we want to discuss about labor demand in the long run. In the long run, the firm's ability to adjust other inputs such as capital will affect the demand for labor. To maximize profits in the long run, the firm must adjust the level of employment and capital such that each input's marginal revenue product is equal to its marginal expense. If you can recall our earlier discussion about the concept of marginal product of labor and also the marginal product of capital, this first equation is the rule that we can use in order to optimize the level of workers employed by our firm. In the context of a competitive product market and a competitive labor market, the rule states that marginal product of labor times price must equal to the wage rate. And in the context of capital, assuming that the capital market also is a competitive one, so we can say that the optimal amount of capital that the firm can hire to minimize its cost is to the point where marginal product of capital times price equal to the cost of hiring the capital, C. Both equations here give us the conditions for profit maximizing when we have all the inputs now becoming variable inputs. Given the two equations, we can rearrange the equation 3.7a and 3.7b as follows. We can state that price equal to W over MPL. This is based on equation 3.7a. And in the context of 3.7b, this one, we can re-express that as price equal to C over MPK. Because now we have both sides of these equations, we have P over here, then we can rewrite this as follows, giving us the equation 3.8c. Equation 3.8c is the rule that the firm needs to consider in order to optimize its input intake in the production process. W over MPL tells us the additional cost or marginal cost of producing an additional unit of output when using labor. And C over MPK tells us about the marginal cost of producing an extra unit of output when using capital. And these two should be equal. To maximize profits, the firm must adjust its labor and capital inputs so that the marginal cost of producing an extra unit of output using labor is equal to the marginal cost of producing an extra unit of output using capital. This is what we get from equation 3.8c. This equation 3.8c, if we consider W increases, adjustment will have to be made to the use of labor because W is the wage rate. Then the firm will have to cut back on the use of labor. And this action will increase the marginal product of labor. Think about that. Each unit of capital has less labor than working with it. Therefore, marginal product of capital will fall and the firm's profit maximizing level of outputs will fall. And this is what we call the scale effect. In short, the scale effect tells us about the adjustment in the output level when there is a change in the input price. In our example here, we look at what happened to the output level when there is an increase in W. We start with W over here and we trace the effect of the change in W, how that would affect the level of output. And in this case, we find that output will fall. And that tells us about the scale effect. Continuing from there, since now W over MPL is more than C over MPL, and if the amount of labor intake is falling, given the increase in the wage rate earlier, the marginal product of labor will increase and the marginal product of capital will decrease. Firms need to adjust this equation, firms need to adjust this equation to restore this rule. W over MPL must equal to C over MPK. This is the rule that we have derived earlier that gives us 3.8C. Firms need to adjust its inputs now. The rise in wage rate can also cause the firm to change its input mix by substituting capital for labor. Remember, we are talking about a long run case over here. When there is an increase in the wage rate, that means firms can now also reconsider to change its input mix to adjust between the amount of labor and capital in its production process, because now we can say that the cost of hiring labor is relatively much higher than capital. Then the firms may consider to substitute capital for labor, and this will give us the substitution effects. What we learn from this discussion is that there are two effects that will take place when there is a change in the input price, such as the change in the wage rate. Change in wage rate can create adjustment to the output level of the firms. If the wage rate goes up, that means higher cost of production. The firm may adjust its output level, and that means scale effect is taken place. On the other hand, when there is a change in the wage rate, such as wage goes up, now the price of labor is relatively more expensive than the price of capital. The firm may then substitute capital for labor, and that would create the substitution effect. That's the situation when we express our long-run production function involving only two inputs, labor and capital. Over here, if there are more than two inputs, what will happen? Capital and labor are not the only inputs used in the production process. Labor, for example, can be subdivided into many categories. For example, by age, by educational level, and occupation. Other inputs include materials and equipments, as well as energy. Let's say we have this equation now. Output is a function of capital, labor, and other materials, I denote as J. Earlier, we have seen the concept of marginal revenue product of labor and marginal revenue product of capital. To recall, if you look at equation 3.7a and 3.7b, this is where we identify the rule to get to the optimal level of labor using 3.7a, and for 3.7b, this is the rule that we use to identify the optimal level of capital. Down here, for 3.8a, we rearrange 3.7a, where we bring P, where we only want to have P on the left side of the equation. Therefore, we have here P equal to W over MPL for the case of labor. And for 3.8b, we have P equal C over MPK in the case of capital. The same idea can be applied when we have more than one inputs. For example, if we now have three inputs, where Q is given by a function of labor, capital, and input J, we can say that for input J, MPJ, marginal product of input J, time price, should equal to the cost of input J, let's say Z, where we assume that there is a competitive market for input J. Now we can bring P to the left side and the other terms on the right side of the equation. Therefore, this is given by Z over MPJ. Given the three inputs, now if we want to identify the optimal level of each of these inputs, we can say that our firms need to fulfill this rule. W over MPL equal to C over MPK and Z over MPJ. Therefore, here we have the rule when we have more than two inputs. I think that's clear for you now. That the firm needs to satisfy in order to ensure profit maximization. Following this rule would enable the firm to cost minimize. That's the case of a long run demand for firm. We learn here that all inputs become variable inputs, and here we established the case of more than two inputs. See you in another session. Thank you. Wassalam.